So the concept I want you to focus on today is progressive overload. And what does progressive overload means is that you're going to start to overload what you're currently capable of doing. And by overload, you're just sort of pushing your limits a little bit. And then you're going to progressively, continually do that. So on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, a month-to-month basis, what you're looking to do is progressively, continually make it a little bit more challenging for yourself. Because if you don't, you actually stagnate. Your body gets used to working at a certain level. And it's almost a sense, a type of sensitivity of sorts. Like your body gets used to a certain level of activity, a certain way of moving, and it looks to use less and less energy to do that exact same thing, which is a really good idea if you're trying to save calories, and calories are sparse, like, you know, thousands of years ago. But at this point in time, we're always going to have extra calories coming in, so it's actually not a good thing. But that being said, there's nothing wrong with doing the same thing. What's wrong with doing the same thing is if it doesn't change at all. So, but the same thing is that you can continue to run 5K technically, indefinitely, but you need to be doing it in a shorter and shorter period of time. So you need to be getting that, running faster to do that 5K. Now, there's probably like a low end ability to get that as short as possible, but what you're looking to do is actually always make it a little bit harder. So that example is a little bit facetious of sorts, but the point is that you could technically do anything and continually do it as long as it's getting harder in some way. That means you're adding reps or sets, adding more weight to things, the amount of time that you're doing it for might increase, the intensity level. There's a lot of ways that you make it more challenging. And as your body builds up a tolerance, your body gets used to it, becomes more efficient. But we want to continually progress. And by progressing, it doesn't mean that you have to change things. Always doing something new is actually an issue because your body's always having to learn things. And when you first start doing things, a new movement, for example, of course you get sore because your body's moving in different ways and muscles are being used in different ways. But if you're always doing new things, your body's constantly trying to learn those things. And it's very inefficient because you actually can't progress and learn at the same time. Because there's a little period of time at the beginning where you're actually adapting and learning. It's a lot of the brain-body connection that happens at first, and then it actually becomes a little bit more progress. So what I'm saying to you is that you want to increase your reps, you want to increase your sets, your weight. That's what your volume is, reps times sets times weight. And unfortunately for a lot of us who have to work out at home right now, the only real options if we don't have more weights is to increase reps and sets. But with progressive overload, you actually don't want to progress by more than 5 to 10% every week. That's sort of the high end of what you want to progress. Probably with cardio, it's a little bit easier to be on the higher end with this. Usually with muscular strength type training, you're probably in the lower end with this. And by increasing volume, it's the total number. If you multiply your reps times sets times weight, the volume shouldn't be increasing by more than 5 to 10%. Now, that being said, when you're at home and you cannot add some more weight, you kind of want to add some more reps. And my suggestion, the way to keep it really super simple for yourself, is increase the amount of reps you're able to do week by week. Reps all the way up until you get to 20. If you're able to do 20 of one type of exercise, add a little bit, another set. Drop it down again, maybe drop it down to like 12, 13, 14, and then week by week start to increase again by the one rep, by one rep, by one rep, keeping that same weight until you're up at 20 again, and then add another set. But there's other ways that you can make things more challenging. Of course, there is that video on the YouTube channel. There's also the blog that's linked up there. 11 ways that you can make your workouts a little bit more challenging without having to add weight. But the concept that I'm having you focus on today is progressive overload. You need to continually, progressively make it more challenging over time for you to continue to see results, for you to continue to succeed. Otherwise, when you get to a certain level and you maintain that, that's what you're going to maintain. You can maintain that level of proficiency. You can maintain those results, whatever's linked to that. So if you want to continue to see change, progressively overload. Doesn't mean you have to change everything. Doesn't mean you have to do that nonsense muscle confusion that people talk about, but you do need to make it a little bit more challenging than it currently is.